Hey, greetings. This is Tanya, the insurance professor. And today I just want to answer, why I keep failing this insurance exam. You know, I failed the exam my very first time, and I didn't have anyone to help. I didn't have anyone to give me any guidance on how to pass. So I've spent the last 5 years now helping people pass the insurance exam. So I'm going to share these three tips with you. All right. These are the three tips. Number one, I wrote them down so I make sure I remember. All right. So these are three main principles that'll help anybody pass the exam because once you have failed the exam, number one, you've seen it, you know what's there. So we got to do some recall. No, okay. So, first of all, once you get your test scores, you need to study the thing that is the weakest point for you. Now, what I've seen is that you study those areas that don't weigh a lot. I'm going to have you focus on two main areas: the state and your policy provisions. Your state and your policy provisions. Now, in your life insurance exam, your life and your health, that's the policy provisions, options, and riders, and policy provisions, riders, and claims is on the health portion. So, in your life and health, that's the provision section. You need to study both areas because they weigh a lot. And then put your time in on the state. If you don't pass the state, you're not going to pass your exam. But you got to still score very well in the provisions area of your exam. So, number one, make sure that you study the weakest spots first, the spots that weigh the most. That's usually your state laws and your provisions. You study them first, not last. Second, I want you to do what we call an active recall. That means that you're going to teach yourself, teach back a term that you already know. Stand in the mirror, talk to yourself. And when you're looking at adverse selection, make sure that you give the definition on how you understand it. Because we spend a lot of time trying to memorize something. You don't need to memorize. This test isn't about memory and that kind of recall. It is all about understanding the concept of the term or of what they're asking. So when I teach this class, I teach it so that you get the concept. So here we are in policy provisions on the health side, and we're looking at the claims procedures. Well, claims procedures, you got to understand that there's two things that the insured must do and everything else the insurance company must do, right? So, but how do I apply it? Well, we all can apply it because more than likely we've been in an automobile accident, right? So I can explain it to you by you being in an automobile accident, you'll get it. Because what is the first thing that you do? When you get in an accident, the first thing that you do is you call the insurance company and you tell them about the accident. That is called notifying them of the claim. That's the job of the insured. Then they send you what? Something, a form for you to complete, for you to tell them all the this, that's, and the other. And then, second, you have to provide them proof. That is what the insured's responsibility is. We automatically do it because they tell us to take pictures of our cars, send in the police report. That is providing proof. So there's two things that the insured must do. So now that you understand processing of claims, however they ask the question on the exam, you understand the content of what it means and it almost even in what order. So you should not have a problem with passing because now you have the understanding. When we explain things like aleatory, adhesion, and unilateral, we explain it in a way that you understand the concept of it, so whenever you see it on the exam, you can answer the question. So sometimes you have to do a scenario. And then number 3, no cramming. No cramming. Be consistent. Pick up your tools, put in 30 minutes a day. I always say if you're just coming out of class or you're just studying or beginning, 2 hours a day, 2 hours a day, not all in one session. As adults, we don't get it by studying in one session because our minds are starting to think about, oh, I got dinner, I got to pick up the kids, I have this to do and that to do, and so forth. So you want to break that up in smaller segments. You know, 30 minutes, you want to study, then study again another 30 minutes, 15 minutes when you're on your lunch break, 15 minutes when you're waiting on the kids to get out of school. Any of those types of things will be much better than you cramming on a weekend. That's not going to guarantee you to pass. And for those of you that believe all I need to do is take practice exams after practice exams after practice exams, and then I'll pass, nah. You have to put in a little time in order to get into this $1 trillion industry. So, this is Tanya, the insurance professor, and I have come here today to just give you a few tips on how to pass and stop failing this insurance exam. Wishing you the absolute best, and make sure that you get licensed. It's an opportunity of a lifetime. Have an excellent day.